everybody. How you doing? This is Robert Rivera with Who's on First, the show, and I have a special guest. His name is Benny Castillo. So, Benny, how you doing?
Doing good, Robert. Hey, nice to meet you. This is our first time seeing each other, man. Pleasure meeting you, kid.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I was born in Dominican Republic, left as a child, as a 6-year-old kid, moved to Puerto Rico, and then I moved to New York City. So I was introduced to baseball in New York in Puerto Rico, but the real deal with baseball happened in New York City, in the Bronx. Learned how to play stickball, and then that grew the love of the game for me.
Did you ever go to Stickball Alley over there by Stevenson High School?
Yeah, of course. We went everywhere. That's kind of a new thing, right? The like a classic, right? They got like a stickball classic and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's the they're trying to make it the mecca of stickball. Is that
like
little
Hall of Fame? Yeah.
Right. That little street over there by Stevenson High School. It's amazing. I remember my dad taking me over there.
You want me to tell you a stickball story later on so I don't forget?
All right, tell it now. Go ahead. Go away.
No, because then it will, you want to know a little bit about my background and all that, so it will mess that up because I know that that's how you flow.
All right. You played for professional ball for a little bit. Where'd you go? What you did?
Yeah, man. I was what you call a minor league lifer. A lot of guys like me want to tell you how much they played, how good they were, and they got to the big leagues, they got to spring training. Nah, I was a minor league lifer. I spent 11 years in the minor leagues. Got to AA, got a little bit of AAA in spring training, but never got out of AA ball. That was the major leagues for me. I think that was my tops. That was incredible for me. That was a feat for me. So when people ask me all the time, hey, I enjoy 11 years of minor league ball.
What teams did you play for?
I came out of college and I got drafted by the Cleveland Indians as an 18-year-old, a kid out of a junior college in Baltimore.
Okay.
I declined that and I went to college and I ended up playing at Oklahoma State University. And that's where you see my hat on.
Okay.
Yeah, man. And then from there, I got drafted by the Detroit Tigers. And then I bounced around to a bunch of teams, the Indians, Texas Rangers, Mexico, Dominican, you name it, independent ball. I was going to go to Italy and then didn't work out. So I bounced around to a bunch of places.
Okay. Your experience in the minor leagues, how did you enjoy that?
When I got drafted, I'm 55 years old. When I got drafted, the way they let you know, there was no cell phone and email and all that crap. So the way they let you know is with a telegram, which is like a letter that was typed a certain way. I got one, and I had to ask my brother to read it because I couldn't believe it. It said, "Congratulations, you've been selected by the Cleveland Indians in the 1986 draft, such pick." And I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, Robert.
Wow. That's something that a lot of people would look forward to. Absolutely. And that's an accomplishment within itself.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah. I know you have your academy and we'll talk more about that, but you're still coaching. You're still out there with those kids. Where do you get all this from?
When I was a child in Puerto Rico, we lived on the same block of this baseball field, and a lot of minor leaguers and major leaguers would come there. I didn't know. I was a little kid. I was 6, 7 years old. And one day they're hitting baseballs and me and my brother are roaming around the outfield and we found a baseball hidden in the grass and I picked it up. I'm keeping this one. And I was a wild kid. I was wild. I wanted to know what the ball was. I wanted to cut it. I want to see what was inside. And then I watched the guys hit and I go, wow, I kind of like that. I went over there and walked over there and said, hey, can I practice with you guys? They were laughing. I found out later that they were big name Yankee guys like Thurman Munson, all these big name guys that I didn't know. And they kind of rubbed my head and said, maybe we'll come back when you're older. So that was really the introduction for me with baseball.
Wow, Thurman Munson. That would be amazing to meet Thurman Munson.
one of my favorite players, man. I didn't even know who I was meeting as a 6, 7-year-old kid.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing. I've bumped into Doc Gooden at the Tampa airport. I just talked to a gentleman. He was friends with Earl Batty. And Earl Batty, same thing with the Bronx. And he had a connection with the Bronx. He worked for Con Edison at one point. And he played for the Cleveland Indians and stuff. So let's talk about this baseball academy that you have down there lately, the Cool Breeze. Where did all this come from?
When I got done playing at the end of my career, I kind of knew I was going to go into coaching. I just had a passion for the game. I have a passion for people. if you get to know me, you know that right away. I have a big passion for people because I was that child. I grew up without a dad in the streets of New York City with a
Mhm.
single mom. So I had a lot of people chip in for me. Police Athletic League, PAL. I had another mentor, my high school coach. He passed away, Mr. Paul Gordon. He became like my dad. So that carried on into my career. When I got done playing, I said, hey, I actually went into teaching. I went back to college, got my master, became a teacher, became a middle school teacher. And then, one day talking in the classroom to some students, they're like, Mr. C, how come you don't go back to baseball? I said, because I'm here. I love you guys. And one kid said, you love it, but it just seemed like you love baseball. Like, why can't you do both? And I
Right.
started thinking, and the head started turning. When I left the teaching profession, I started crying. My principal said, Benny, we always knew you were going to go back to baseball. Just don't get sad. Just bring your classroom to your baseball field. So that's what I did. I created an actual academy where kids come in and they learn a lot about different things besides baseball.
Yeah. Yeah. I ask people all the time, especially guys that are playing baseball, what have you taken from the field that you bring into your everyday life? And I'm gonna ask you that question. What have you taken from the field that you bring into your everyday life?
The main thing that I gather and I try to tell these kids, which is hard these days because kids have a lot of different resources that we didn't have, is that life is real. I mean, what more real than baseball? Baseball humbles you. I wasn't a good player. I made myself better. And
Right.
even when I was at my best, I failed. So you learn, people use the cliche, if you go to bat 10 times and you get 3 hits, man, people have no idea what that means.
No, they have no idea.
So I learned.
I always think of the movie Bull Durham. He said, what's the difference between hitting 290 and 300? 4 hits. And you sit there and you go, wow, to think 10 points, because at 290, 300. Ooh, wait a minute.
And Robert, let me add a little bit to that. To get from AA to the big leagues, it's the same concept. It's like this.
Yeah. Is that, yeah.
But in reality, it's like this. It's all a mind frame. It's all an approach. It's all timing too sometimes, but a lot of it's just your mindset and not so much your talent, because we all have the talent. It's just that little leap from that 290 to 300,
Right. If you truly love baseball, you know how to fail because the game is that hard. You try to hit a round ball with a round bat. Let me know how you do. And it's not easy. It's not easy.
Well, it's designed to break your heart, man. Baseball has been everything to me. As many bad moments on the bus and a little bit of discrimination back when in the 80s, I was still a little bit in it. Even through all that, I don't go around complaining. I had the best life. If I die today, I'm good, man. Okay. Baseball, it was an amazing ride. I can't believe that I've done what I've done in baseball. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't supposed to. I was going to break those barriers, and I did.
My dad kept us in baseball all the time. Even in the winters, we would go to the local high school. He had a friend, and we would go to the gym, and he kept us doing something. It was always the baseball. I mean, I believe baseball in the inner cities is very, very necessary. Baseball academies like you're giving these kids a shot.
When I was growing up in the city, you're from the city, I spent a lot of my time traveling to a place, preparing for a game. So I didn't have a lot of time to do anything that I wasn't supposed to. I mean, I tell people that when I was growing up, I was kind of that ghetto nerd. I mean, I didn't have a girlfriend. I didn't go to those parties. I love music. Music back then, rap was just starting out, and I did some of that, but it was very limited because I was just so focused. And when I went to college, people couldn't believe how focused I was. And I look at me. I'm 125 pounds, a kid from the Bronx. You think I got time to mess around? Going to the gym, going to the field, and earning that coach's trust, and for a coach to fall in love with me. And when it came time to cut me, he said, I'm not cutting you. I said, Coach, don't cut me. Keep me around. I'll figure it out. And that's what happened. That was my career in a nutshell, man. I always figure it out.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. And even today, you're still figuring it out. You know what I mean?
That's right.
I want to be the next major leaguer, Derek Jeter. What advice would you give me?
Well, every time they walk through that blue door you see in your background there, I always tell them, when you come to a place like this, not because it's my place, and they pay me. Listen, they pay me. This is how I make my living. They pay me. So let's get that straight.
Mhm.
I tell them, not because it's me or it's my place, but I tell them, anytime you walk through a place like this, it's a privilege. And a lot of parents and kids forget that. They think, hey, I'm paying this guy. No, 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 no. I kicked the kid out of there a year ago, first time ever, the only time. And I gave him that whole spiel about this place is a sanctuary. You walk through those doors. Same thing I just told you. Well, the next week, he was the first one to sign up. You should see that kid now. He's consuming, getting better, and stopping all the nonsense, all the disrespect. And that's the thing that we need to teach kids now. Just stay focused. Don't get caught up so much in you and I'm this and I'm that. We have a Spanish saying, Dominicans, Puerto Rican, yo voy a mí, like I'm betting on me. It's this slang, like yo voy a mí.
That's
Listen,
right.
it goes beyond yo voy a mí. You
Mhm.
gotta put in the time. All that stuff, that self-assurance stuff, that's cool and dandy. When it comes to it, you better grind, you better work hard.
Right, right, right. And this is what they need to know. Stuff like this is amazing stuff. You keep grinding and you keep coming up with a good attitude. Hey, maybe you won't make it to the major leagues, but you can have a hell of a ride. I was a catcher, so I was always ahead of the game. See you on the next move. I'm already 2 moves ahead of you. I would tell my pitcher, this guy, we're going to start him off inside. If I see him creep back, then we're going to go high and away, and then we're going to jam him back inside. This was to the second batter. Flacco, he's the third batter. We're going to hit him like this, and by the time I get on the field, I've already got a plan already on the third, fourth batter. And it's the same thing I do at work. And I make schedules, and I revamp the schedule, and I do it over again. And I say, hey, next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, this is what we're going to be doing. And people go, oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That worked out really well.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean,
Wow.
this baseball academy, you've won any championships?
Well, actually, I don't have teams. I'm actually one of the last Mohicans, man. I'm one of the last guys that are just doing raw stuff. I brought Dominican Republic to Lakeland. I'm just training kids with no games, just training them, and they could go play, and they could send me their videos. The parents could come in and tell me how great their kids did. I go out, eat with them. We talk about their success. When it comes time to go to high school, we go through the whole process. When it's time to go to college, I get on a plane and I take them to a college so they can see what that's like. I introduce them to coaches, but my only benefit is obviously I make a living off of it. My big benefit is that I see these kids grow, but I don't have any teams. To me, for the guys that have teams, it's great. I take my hat off to them, but sometimes it's a lot of drama in that. I don't leave it up to that. I train them and they go play. But my whole soul with Cool Breeze is just training kids, breaking them down mechanically, physically, mentally. I also go to different countries and I bring kids back. I introduce baseball in some countries. I'm going to St. Lucia in 2 weeks to introduce baseball there. Went to St. Kitts about 5 years ago, introduced baseball there with a friend of mine that passed away recently. But that's my goal, man, is just to be in a, if I may, in a humble way, say, be an ambassador to the sport,
Right.
just kind of keep the love of the game alive. Not so much the knowledge, but the love of the game and the passion for the game.
We had talked about Donovan Duncan
Yeah.
spreading the love up in Jamaica there. I still want to figure all that out.
It's like I tell you, baseball is real. It's a tough reality check because it's a sport where you're going to fail most of the time.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't like to fail.
Nah, nobody wants to fail. Well, let's get back to the Bronx. Back to the Bronx. I'm originally from Castle Hill. I played a lot of my baseball at Castle Hill Little League. They were the monster at the time. Our rivals were the Throsneck Little League, and I think it was Kids Bay, Pelham Bay Park, and
Pelham Bay Park.
So there was a lot of baseball there.
Wow.
And that was our little tour, and 1 year we got to play the Elm Jack kids. And we were like, Elm Jack, what the heck is Elm Jack? And it turns out it was Elmhurst and Jackson something Little League and
Queens.
And Queens. Yeah. Elmhurst Little League. And
yeah,
we were like, wow, this is amazing stuff. So it was a good competition. We had some fun games, and every once in a while, like if I get back to the Bronx, I take my kids by the field and I'm like, hey, I hit a shot over here, and My son rolls his eye. Oh,
You tell him it was 500 feet. Yeah,
it's
man.
500. Yeah. I still tell him about the home run that I hit off the light post, and they called me out, and I got ejected out of the game. It's my first ejection ever in the seniors, and I was just like, what the, and it's, I was like, if it was a home run, to this day, I say it's a home run, and my father was like, well, I would just stop it. And I'm like, Dad, it was the rule. It's the rule. I'm a stickler for rules. So that was one of the things, like, I was in the same realm as you. Like, I was a good baseball player. I can play the game. I wasn't major league material. I was barely minor league material, but I had good skills. And sometimes my father would be like, set you loose. You're like a bit of a psychopath. One day he put a fire under me because he said I looked bored. And he said, the kid over there said he was going to steal bases on you all day. And I said, who? He said, the kid on the number 12. Man, wait till man. And boy, I tell you, I gunned that dude down bad a couple of times. And my father was laughing. I said, what's so funny? He goes, that kid didn't say nothing about you. I was like, man, you got me going crazy over here, and I'm gunning this dude down bad. And then I told him, come on, sit over there. And my father,
hey, like, Robert, is your father still alive?
My dad is still alive. Yes, my dad is still alive.
I would love to meet him and share some Bronx stories.
Yo, man, he's hilarious. He loves the baseball game. He's the one that got us into it. And we still talk about a lot of the stuff. Doesn't really get into the modern baseball. It's not for him. The good old days. Who was it? My cousin pitched against I can't think of his name. Oh my God. He played for Boston. I can't think. Manny Ramirez's brother. And his brother hit a shot off of my cousin, man. Woo! It was a changeup. My dad said there's only two things that can happen to a changeup. You get a beautiful strikeout or a beautiful home run. And he goes, that was a beautiful home run. So that was the big deal. Now let's get back to that stickball, man. You said you had a stickball story for me.
Yeah, man. So in 2003, I'm working with the Florida Marlins in the minor league system. I'm one of their coaches, player development.
Okay. I'm actually
the manager for their New York Penn League, which is rookie ball.
Okay.
In Jamestown, New York.
Okay.
And we came to Brooklyn to play the Brooklyn Mets out of
the Cyclones.
The Cyclones out of Coney Island. We stayed in Brooklyn. One day I announced, hey, we're gonna do a baseball clinic in my old league in youth service league in Brooklyn. So we did that. They didn't have a choice. Then the following day, I said, hey, I'm going to go to Yankee Stadium. They're going to give us a tour. And they all wanted to go. A whole bunch of them went. Well, I had something in store for them, but I didn't tell them. When I got to the ballpark, I saw an old high school friend of mine. He just looked at me. He goes, Benny. I said, I haven't seen him like in 30 years. He goes, Benny, what's up? I said, man, what's going on? He goes, he's a cop. So I said, hey, man, you mind giving us a little escort to my block, back to the block? Got on the bus. He's escorting us. They're like, yo, Benny, who's that cop? I said, that's just a friend. He's just hanging out in front of the bus. He's escorting us through the hood. You got all these guys, some from the suburb, never seen anything like that, with belt buckles, Wranglers, cowboy boots and everything, with money. Some of them signed for money. And then some Latin kids, mixture of everything. So we're on the bus, and when we get there, we're driving by the hood, windows open with the music and the curtains flying out, the whole side to side and everything. And I parked the bus, and I go, guys, I'm gonna go take a little walk on my block. If you want to come with me, I'll show you where I grew up. If not, you could stay here. I'm just not sure what's gonna happen to you when you stay here. So we get out, Robert. We get in the hood, and everybody's scrambling in the hood because they never seen that many white people in their life young. Everybody's scrambling. Yeah, man. So I scream, I go, hey, está bien, estamos bien. Yo viví aquí. I used to live here and all that crap. It's good. They all like, okay. So I take them to my building. Then I walked them up the street. I went to the middle of the street. And I go, this sewer hole here, they call it a manhole, right? The sewer hole here was home plate. And they're like, what are you talking about? I said, we play this game called stickball. You get a stick, you put tape at the bottom, you get a Spalding ball, and then you hit it. This building is a double, break a window, you better haul ass and go home. And then the fifth floor is a home run. That car there is first base, the tire where he leaves, we got no more first base. And now we're arguing about what first base is going to be. They were like, what? Robert, and listen, man, I said we used to go on the outfield, catch football. Sometimes you got hit by a car. I mean, you didn't get killed. You got hit by a car a little bit, and you got up. What? That's how I grew up playing baseball.
That's
they were like, they couldn't believe it.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, talk about the stoop. We used to get the Spalding ball, and you know,
hit off of it. Yeah,
you hit off the stoop ball, and then if you did it, pop, and it went over, and you had a hold, you couldn't go past the back bumper of that car. But usually that happened after we done broke everybody's broomstick handle. You know.
Hey, look. My father was a superintendent in my building. So when we were in the hallway playing, I got the beating. Everybody left, and I stood there getting a beating from my dad all the way to the basement. He goes, you know, you're supposed to be an example. You know, you're a kid, and I'm supposed to be an example. I'm 10, 11 years old, you know.
Yeah, and sometimes we smack that bad boy right off into the Bruckner, and you'd be like, what? They'd be like, yo, we lost the ball. Or the cross Bronx. I remember hitting a shot into the cross Bronx.
You remember that? Me too. I played there too.
At the Castle Hill, at the top of Castle Hill in the cross Bronx.
Yeah.
And there was a school in the back there. And I remember hitting a shot off a dude. I mean, it was a boomer. And it went.
I remember that school. I remember that school.
It went over the fence and bounced 2 times, and then went into the cross Bronx. And we was all standing there, and I'm like, yeah. And they was like, hey, Robert, we ain't got no more ball.
Robert, whatever happened to those times? Whatever happened to kids just kind of going on their own?
Hey, listen, man, whatever happened to a $500 baseball card? These guys are paying $2,000, $3,000, $7,000 for a baseball card now. It's some crazy stuff out there, man.
We pay $1 for them, a whole pack.
Now they got them all certified. They got them signed. They got them here. I got one right here. I'll give you a quick little. It's signed, autographed in the slab, PSA, the whole bit. I mean, this is, you know, $80 card all day. You know, for us, remember we used to put this in the bike spoke, and you know, we used to remember you put it on the wall like that. You put up against the wall, right, and drop it. And if yours came face down, you lost.
That joy that you and I are having right now talking about this is what I try to bring to these kids.
I appreciate you being on, and we'll get you on another time. I want to get an invite down there to Cool Breeze.
Come down anytime.
Any parting words, any advice for any of these young guys out there?
No, man, just work hard. That's the main thing, and love the game, and keep your ears open, because everybody has a story, everybody has something that you could gain from. And just don't believe the hype, because a lot of time the kid that's a stud now and the kid that's a scrub, you see the tables turn later on. So it's not always the kid that starts as a beast. It's that kid that keeps the grind and keeps the love. And I'm a good example of that, man. Just keep playing. If you love the game, go home filthy dirty at the end of the day, and good things will happen to you. Listen, Robert, when you come down to my cage, things have changed, buddy. All those terminology are not used anymore. When you come back, I'm going to get you in a cage and tell you exactly what's going on now. All that stuff that you're talking about right now is obsolete. It's done. It's a totally brand new thing.
It's all new baseball. I love it. I love the evolution. I love the evolution of the game. All right. Well, thanks you. Listen, Benny, I appreciate you being on, man. And good luck. And I'm going to get down to Cool Breeze. I'm going to hit you. I'm going to have to get Eric and you guys together, go out to lunch, dinner, or something like that. Your treat, of course.
That's right. Come down and we some good rice and beans places over here. We'll go eat them up.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, there's another edition of Who's On First. And remember, guys, keep your head up and keep swinging.
That's right. Take care, Robert.
All right. Thank you. I didn't hit record. Holy shit.
If you like the show, please do me a favor. Subscribe. Right? You see it? It's right there. Subscribe, share, like, and don't forget, put that bell on. It'll ding you when I put something else on, all right?